Marora soe fua la fionga tawai. Ia, mutato atunua whafonga mai. Good morning to everyone.
Love after tele mo fa no mail time ne foi tai fo te lo le big issue tal mai na fili tai lo fiona doctor o le fa la vele au kilani la foi tau ma la ti lo e te le officially o officially ia il vaenga le ma se la vale justice system le tanto tu nei I New Zealand o le ala o se sila ma lo se fil tu langa ma le mentu ban
Ia, le tahi au ngafi. Yeah, it was a shock to everyone. Tawai. The gaming whalunga e mako, or gaming we were on our way to Parliament for gaming ngā luai for Egypt, Prime Minister ile airport. Yeah, so first and foremost, for our thoughts and prayers for Lako injured. I think it's up to 10 people that were injured. 2 people have passed, so our thoughts are with them and their families, and also the police officer who he got shot, and he's will undergo surgeries in hospital. So yes, in Parliament we did. The Deputy Prime Minister Kamau Sipiloni, she put a motion through to talk about the shooting, and there will be questions asked about why was he was on probation. He had his he had conditions to be able to go to work. So those answers will come soon enough. This morning the police commissioner fronted media and said what he can, but the investigation will keep going. So yeah.
Okay, Dr. Anae le officially be fa mole because I left out more announced my the new system for the labor system shake up to tackle youth crime. Do you think this is a good idea? Yeah.
Our party and this government's always been about making sure we're using evidence-based measures to tackle youth crime. So it was always about the wraparound support for victims, but also to make sure these youth go into programs that work, that reduce the reoffending. And we've seen those programs that the government invested in. But yes, there's still more work to be done. You would have seen the new announcement about the aggravating factors for Ilale, or we know that organized gangs use these youth to commit. So it is important that we bring them into the legislation for make them accountable. So there's other measures to be put in, and we understand there's more work to be done.
Let's hope Dr. Anae Neru leavasa. Let's hope to push because for us as a community we need to look after each other. Support each other to lang le tau nei ta tu le ma mi ta tu le to inga vai ngalo tu me fa pe.
Certainly.
Yeah. Okay. Tata no nga ilvanga Pacific Health Strategy. For you as a doctor, tele should feel to langale achieving longer, healthier lives for all New Zealanders. I'm fine.
Yeah, so more recently, the Minister of Health and also the Associate Minister, Barbara Edmonds, released the new strategy. And I just want to say thank you to the Kako community for doing the whongos, doing the talanoa, to bring this new strategy. And this is the first time we're Pacific Health Strategy, and also it's in legislation for. So it's good that this government's brought that in to make sure the priority of Kako Pacifica is up there. And this strategy focuses on the whole person, not just the physical attributes of the Kako Kanaka, but it's we know that we're very spiritual people, so we have to bring that in as well. So this strategy will encompass all of those things to help our Kanaka Pacifica in New Zealand and in the context of how we live our lives for.
Okay, Lele, as a doctor, for Lele, what do you think of Lele Motatu Tangata Samoa Pacifica for Lele? Because we need to look after ourselves, to Langoita Mafa, file exercise, or Mangata, we are Motatu, doctor.
Well, South Auckland, where I practiced and grew up in. Mera kasi au kako, how kako kaumafa.
Yes.
So it's really important,
Yeah.
that the new strategy focusing on prevention of illness. But number one for me, ole me ai. So nutrition is very important, but it's very hard because of kako culture. We surround ourselves with food, but sometimes not the good food. So, my mom and dad, retired
Yeah.
ministers.
Yeah.
I've always said, when you go out to those events
Yeah.
and make sure that the community or the church knows,
Yes.
get some
Yeah.
healthy foods
Yeah.
at least. And then the second is exercise. I know
Yeah.
for Kakawakangaka, we like to train. That's
Yes.
normal for us.
Yes.
But when it comes to food, very hard. So
Yeah.
that's one of my priorities.
Mana ya okay le lei mana tele fam na tumo na yo tanzo tangata doctor ana lenda mawal ne va ya se folele olela support ele malo na ai nga folele sa la nga la to mo tel vai tembe lo the floodings earlier
Yeah.
this year
Mm. Mm.
do you think because some of them have been waiting for a long time yeah le wa mo se son en malo ile tulang
Yeah. We It's important we work with local councils because at the moment local government is leading this, but we found that as the government we have to make sure we look after kako homeowners who are making having it tough, that their insurance payments for accommodation because they are displaced is running out. So the new announcement will help support the homeowners where their insurance will stop, and we jump in with our with the new policy just to support them while the insurance companies kick in another part of their policy.
e nei ai nga lo te lon complain le wat pe lo fi fa pule pa lo fi ngala tu ngala some of them they're saying it's not enough it lava because for two adults and two children the maximum is $610 and they said it's not enough ala lo fi ngala lo fi pule le tu
And it's good to get that feedback because I know that the ministry are basing their payments on the average rental property in Okilangi especially, but those things can be reviewed. So it's always good to know, especially when we live in a cost of living crisis. So any measure and any feedback the minister will take in consideration.
Famabone no fengal pole Dr. Anae rates rebate for low income families. Is there a substitution mulato we are famabone?
Yeah, so again, it's another measure. Morocco is finding it very tough for the gaming aid.
Yeah.
So for those low-income families, just to help out with their rates, this again is one of the measures to help and support alongside all our other policies. Community. So I'm happy that's brought in. But these are the different levers that we can help to support our families at this time.
Okay, le leil mang mo mo fiang Dr. Anae Neru sa Lua Lay polls released a couple of weeks ago. Looks like o alulalo support more Labour Party. What did you hear from Chris Hipkins this week?
Yeah, the boss, Prime Minister Hipkins, says, those polls came out when, we had a couple of things happening with the ministers. And, when we're supposed to be talking about our work in government, we're talking about ourselves and trying to defend or discuss what's happening with the ministers. So it wasn't a good time for us. I think we want to make sure when we go into the campaign that we're talking about the policies that help our people during this time. So yes, we reflect on those polls, but our campaign is just kicking off, and we're working hard for our people.
Okay, Lele. So more a few seconds a lot toy or Milo to Malo Takanini.
Yeah, Takanini has been good. In Kiama, Asia,
Yeah.
but Yeah, and Kako Pacifica as well. They're the third largest population in
Yeah,
Kako Pikungu. But just hope that my first 3 years have shown them that
yeah,
I'll work hard for
yeah,
them. And the policies we brought in and the investment in Takanini.
yeah.
So I hope to get their support this coming October.
Yeah, okay. Lelay, alam silbanisi mo awala Takanini o afea matai ang alwe nga molfa lelay awala ilocho balo fa molmole doctor.
Yeah, so Mill Road, Takanini, that's we know that government invested into that area. So we're looking at you've already seen in parts of the Mill Road that work's been started. We know that it's been scaled down a little bit because of the costs, and also the Takanini rail crossing projects is still in discussion with Auckland Council as well.
Yeah. Lafianga Dr Anae Neru leavasa. Thank you so much for the tele lava mo time fa no mai le foi tai out. Well, fa mo moi la telephone this time mo mai ta tu te no el tu already sa mo mo tele lava ne aso mo foi la lo mo le. Long weekend. Oh, by the way, the World Cup. FIFA tele
Oh,
lope
yes.
give you feel soccer.
Yes. Oh, we were very happy. On a ball we landed in
Yeah.
Okilangi, turned on the phones, and
Yeah.
the whole plane,
Yeah.
everyone was celebrating. So, really happy. It was a
Yeah.
good end of
Yeah.
yesterday.
Okay. Fa te tele lava mo lava ne aso.
I love it, Tamai.
Yeah, so for yeah. Le whangar whai pole mo le tumalo Takanini, Dr Anae Neru leavasa mo le tala noanga ne foi tai fau le tau tuamo already Samoa for lima e tolu amo